that the National Assembly began amendment of the Constitution and they aim to finish it by 2021. The Senate had received memoranda from the public on what you'd like them to change in the Constitution. That ended in September, around 22nd of September. Now, the House of Reps has begun also receiving memoranda from the public on what you would like them to change in the Nigerian Constitution. And they're receiving this memoranda, guess when? Now! Okay, so on the show this morning, I'm here to help you understand how you can move from complaining to acting. Those things you'd like to see change in the Constitution, this is a time to bring them forward. How would you do that? This is why the Deputy Director of SERAP, Kolawole Oluwadare, is joining me on the Morning Crossfire today to be a part of that conversation. Kolawole, are you there?
Yeah, good morning, Wemimo.
Good morning to you, and thanks for joining me on the show today.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Okay, you need to turn on your video because your video is off. I can't see your face. You're doing that for me. Yes, it's on Skype, by the way, and that means you can watch us live on Facebook. Thank you. Oh, you look good. Why did you want to hide all of this goodness? Okay, so you can join us on Facebook right now and on YouTube. That's Nigeria Info 99.3, and you can watch this conversation live. If you've got questions, begin to send them in now, but I need you to pay rapt attention for the next 15 minutes thereabout about what you can do and how you can be a part of this ongoing amendment. Let me start by asking you, Kolawole, do you believe that the National Assembly has done enough sensitization about the ongoing amendment? And if no, why do you think that people don't know that is going on?
Thank you very much, Wemimo. I don't think it's enough. And I don't think it's for a lack of capacity to do that. Yes, I got that. But I think that there are a lot of people I've spoken to personally in the hinterlands, in the grassroots, who have not had this notice. But be that as it may, and I think that behoves on us Nigerians to do that part of the work, and which is part of what SERAP is doing in advocacy and the public enlightenment, to push this message as far inland as we can to get people to engage. And while I would not be able to speak for the motives of the National Assembly of the inability to push this, I think it's still part of a systemic inefficiency that matters as of such importance as constitutional reviews should be given the publicity it deserves. And I think this is where the National Orientation Agency and other agencies of government should play. If you look at the National Orientation Agency, this falls squarely within one of the ambits of what they do statutorily. So she should be able to take this message and break it down to the people. By now, we should be seeing adverts in paper,
radio jingles.
Yes, across all languages, platforms, to make sure that the message goes round. I'm yet to see that, and I think we still have enough time to push the message.
I am so happy. I mean, I felt a bit broken when I brought this conversation on Monday and I realized that the Senate had stopped receiving memoranda. But imagine how excited I was to realize that the House of Reps just began, which means the Nigerians can still be a part of this process. So I wanted to tell us, what does it mean? What does sending a memoranda mean? What does it mean to be a part of this amendment? Is it a reality or is it just a farce?
I think we can go beyond the semantics in the interest of Nigerians. The memorandum can be in any form, as it were, at least for the purposes of constitutional amendments. Because even the law understands that, of course, not all Nigerians are literate. The figures are there for all of us. So, but basically, it's a summation of your ideas and your views on how the Constitution is to be amended. From the notice that the House of Representatives put out, they had listed some various areas they want people to look at. But that does not restrict Nigerians to those focal areas. All the Nigerians are free. We are all citizens to put forward whatever ideas they have. So basically what it needs is to put pen to paper, as it were, and send it to the House of Reps to ensure that your views are captured. And it's very important that Nigerians understand that in putting forth views, it is not necessarily a blame game. You have looked at the Constitution. You can engage a lawyer if you want, if you don't really understand those basics. And put forward the areas that you think, as a citizen, is very important to engage and to review. And I think it's a very important platform for Nigerians to form coalitions, as it were, to put forward ideas. You can form groups. Whatever affects you as an individual and you have common interests with other people, you can come together and write and send it, either by hand delivery. And I've seen notices by some senators themselves where they've given out emails for people to send their memoranda. So there are various ways. It can be in form, it can be in written form, it can be by email. Basically, the idea is to have an understanding of what you think is wrong with the Constitution, what you think should be done, put it in writing, and send it to the House of Representatives.
So it's a good time to talk about the distrust in the system that people have. If I open the phone lines right now, like I always say, I know my audience. If I open the phone lines, there's always this skepticism. But even if I send it, they won't do anything. So how sincere do you think this process is?
I think, as for the sincerity, I may not be able to speak for the House of Representatives, but as Nigerians, I agree with you that it is time to stop complaining. It is time to take action. It is time to walk the process. You cannot complain about the process you do not engage in. Yes, we are all aware of the distrust, and justifiably so, with what has happened over the years. But it's another opportunity for Nigerians to put in the work. And it is very important that these are written documents. You can always have proof that you submitted them.
Absolutely.
To your National Assembly members in the House of Representatives. So I think for one thing that Nigerians can do is everyone has a member in the House of Representatives representing him. Do you know his name, his or her name? Do you have his or his contacts? Do you have his email addresses? I can remember some time ago, society organizations did a fantastic work of putting out the email addresses and phone numbers of members of the National Assembly. This is the time to use those things positively. Can you send a copy of those memoranda to them, copy them, and tell them you submitted a copy and that you expect them as your representative to take on these actions and to vote in line with what you want? And that's what Nigerians must do. Yes, I understand the distrust, but this is the time to walk the process. And let us see and make sure that we continue in advocacy to be sure that we do not only submit, but each of our representatives toes the line of what we want them to do. After all, we elected them to be there to represent us.
Nice sounding. Now, let's explain this process. How does it work? So the opening of submissions of memoranda is now for the House of Reps. So people can send in what they want. After that, what happens? Just take us through the process of this amendment. What usually happens?
Naturally, by the provisions of the Constitution, the Section 9, a constitutional amendment cannot be passed unless we have a two-third majority of each of the houses of the National Assembly. That's talking about the House of Reps and the Senate. And then subsequently, a resolution passed the two-third majority of the House of Assemblies of each state. So this is just the beginning of that process. And so at this stage, issues are being received to be deliberated on by the committee, after which it goes to the whole House. And that is why it is very important at this stage that those processes go in. Whatever does not go in now may not be able to make the final cut.
This is what they'd say when you're having a wedding. Speak now or be silent forever, right?
Yes.
Something like that.
Yes, because if you call it that. And that is why it's important we put it in now. And then the follow-up stage, which is going to go subsequently when there's voting on the floor of the House, is when Nigerians will now ensure that each of the members of the House of Representatives representing them towards the line of what you as an individual or as a group have submitted. So it does not end here. There are still going to be votes on it on the floor of the House when it goes for debate.
Great. So you mentioned also that it's still coming back to the states. Tell us about that part.
Yes. So it is still part of the process that if you submitted to the National Assembly and you've engaged and lobbied whatever form you want for your representative to make sure that he votes in favor of that particular aspect, you still have the opportunity to engage at the state level when it comes down for resolution at the state level to ensure that those same issues are still.
Oh. Your line is breaking up. I'll give that a minute to come around. But I hope you are following this conversation as keenly as I, would advise that you do. While I get Kolawole back on the line, his video is hanging up. I'll come to the phone lines. Just tell me, so far, do you understand what we're saying? Do you understand what we're talking about? I told you on Monday that the Senate had asked people to submit memoranda about what you would like to be changed in the Constitution. The Senate has focal points and focal areas they're looking at. But like Kolawole said, you can possibly send in your contributions on virtually any aspect of the Constitution because you got a right to. So do you understand what we've said so far on this chat this morning on the amendment of the Constitution? 0700 993 993 993. I'll take two calls and then I'll see if Kolawole is back with me on the line. Let's see who is here. Hello, good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Welcome to the show.
Yeah. So my issue, I'm Austin calling from Surulere.
Welcome.
Yeah. So my issue is on the South governors. Mm-hmm. Recently, they had a meeting as to resource control and the number of things they wanted done. Mm-hmm. My question is, are these these things they discussed or the points they raised, are they part of the things that can be discussed or tabled before this constitutional amendment?
Yes. You as a Nigerian can now write to the...
No, you are not getting me.
Okay, rephrase it.
I want specific answer as to whether these issues that were discussed by the South governors are things that should ordinarily be tabled before this particular constitutional amendment committee.
Oh, rather than talking about it in the meeting.
Rather than talking about it in the meeting and addressing it to Mr. President. If you will hear Governor Wike recently, he was saying that if President Muhammadu Buhari should refuse to do this, then he simply wants to set, the country on fire. I'm quoting him.
All right, thank you. I get you. Let me speak with Prince YS. Good morning.
Morning to you, Wemimo.
Yes, welcome to the show.
I like this topic this morning.
Thank you.
I've been talking about it donkey months. I can't say years, donkey months ago. Why am I saying this? The cultural group like Afenifere, Ohanese, Bandep, Middle Belt Forum, they were saying we must be social discussing, and we agree that it means different things to different people. I told them, send preference be to the National Assembly, because those people representing Nigeria today as a rep, as senator, whether they are performing or they are not performing, they represent our interests. We should send the bill to them. The chairman of the Constitutional Review Committee today is from South. The Speaker of the House today is from the Southwest. Why can't we send the bill and lobby these people to if we want the type of sorrow you want us to return this country?
Thank you very much. Kolawole is back with me, and the two calls I received have centered mostly on restructuring. The first call I'd asked. Recently, the leaders of the South had met with a convoy from the president to demand, amongst other things, resource control. Someone has asked, the conversations they had, which they've directed to the president, are these things that normally should have been forwarded to the National Assembly during this constitutional amendment? Can you answer that for us, Kolawole?
All options are on the table. Like I said, from the notice put up by the House of Representatives, they have highlighted some areas, but Nigerians are not bound by those. And it's interesting to know that one of the areas that was put out was the federal structure and power devolution, which you would agree goes to the core of the amendments and the various calls for restructuring for some areas of Nigeria. So Nigerians are free to put that. Local government autonomy is an issue. A revenue allocation is another issue. Even the police that we've seen the SERAP protest, is on the table. These are all constitutional provisions that amendments can kill. And that is why Nigerians can stop complaining now, at least for once, and let us all put our hands to work, put forward ideas, including those it is not enough to say this section is bad. We need to restructure. What are the options you're putting forward to the House Committee to make sure there is restructuring and to make sure that you prefer solutions? This is how I think it should be amended. It may not be in the nitty-gritty of the exact wordings you have if you're a layman and you're not a lawyer, but you can put it in your own words, what you want it to appear like. And then after the committee stage, it goes to the whole House, and then you can ensure that your House of Rep members got the needful. So again, all issues are on the table.
Now, let me just ask a question that might be on the mind of the listener. So one of the things we've seen, we've mentioned the distrust in the process. And because this is why we're explaining what people should expect. So it's a long run. It's a marathon. It's not a short race. I mean, you don't just submit and go to bed. In your assessment or opinion, just give me, just how long do you think this whole process might take?
Looking at the constitutional provisions in Section 9, it is expected to take a while. But we've seen the commitment of the National Assembly to say that this will be done by 2021. Yeah, 2021 may be some couple of weeks away. But yes, but we have to start. And like it said, a journey of 1,000 miles starts with a step in the right direction. I've been told, not just with a step. And so this, I believe, is a step in the right direction. And while people may distrust the system and the process or the motive behind this, let us all work to put the issues on the table to make sure that these issues are well ironed. For SERAP, for instance, so the economic rights of Nigerians is something that is dear to our hearts, and that informed what we submitted in our memorandum to the Senate. The rights listed in Chapter 2 of the Constitution should naturally be in Chapter 4. Free education should be something, it should be a right. It should be a right that you can enforce as the right to life. And those are the issues that are there to us as part of what we do. Nigerians have different views. This is the time to peacefully and lawfully coalesce it together and put them before a lawful process.
So I have with me the document that you shared with me. This is the memoranda, if you guys are looking at it, that SERAP has submitted, right, to the Senate. I'm holding it right there. So you see, it's not something too difficult. I mean, it's just document. Like Kolawole has said, you can engage a lawyer or someone who understands the Constitution if you don't know what section you want to address, but you can't just take your time and do your research. Like you've also mentioned, you are addressing, SERAP is addressing issues about human rights of Nigerians, particularly socioeconomic rights. Here, you've also addressed the Conduct Bureau here in this document, and also strengthening the independence of the oversight institutions and agencies created by the Constitution or pursuant to an act of the National Assembly, amongst other things. So tell me, does my submission need to be in any formal way? Is there any formality to writing this thing?
No, not necessary, and that's why I've made that point clear. That yes, the memorandum looks like a big word to some people, and that we can get behind the semantics and get to the nitty of it. So even if it's a letter, it gets submitted. It's good, and even if you submit through your own representative, if you have a civil address, like I've said, I've seen some put out tweets and emails addresses put out by some members of the National Assembly. It can be channeled through them also. All the important thing is that your issues and serious are submitted to the National Assembly. Unfortunately, the process could have been more robust if we've had some kind of online or virtual process going along with this. To have submissions by Twitter, for instance, or to have even Nigerians submitted, but we have emails, and I think that is a good thing.
Yes.
But until we have those, let us make use of these avenues that we have, and then we have a record, and then we continue from submission to engaging with the members of the National Assembly, even to engaging at the state level as the House of Assembly, where we still need a 2/3 majority in resolution to have this constitutional review passed. 2/3
majority at the Senate, 2/3 majority at the House of Reps, and it comes down to your state 2/3 majority. So you need some pressure. You need to keep up the pressure. 0700 993 993 993. Are you excited about this process? Are you willing to walk it through? Because here's where it all lies. You don't just submit and go to sleep. Are you willing to walk through the process? We're also live on Facebook and YouTube, Nigeria Info 99.3. I'm heading there in a moment to take your comment. But let me speak first with Ajibola, who's now on the line. Ajibola, good morning.
Good morning, Wemimo.
Welcome to the show.
Yeah, my name is Ajibola. I'm actually inside traffic now.
Okay.
So I really want to appreciate your session for what you guys are doing, and I'll say it's a great job you are doing for the country.
Thank you.
And this is my own contribution to what is going on. I think as individuals and corporate entity, we have responsibility to this country to make it a better one. And by giving out right information to people, really go a long way to helping everybody in this country. So I would just advise the youth, the NSAS movement and co, can use their platform to inform people about this kind of constitutional amendment that is going on, so that a lot of people can channel in their own ideas and it will get to them. Just imagine using the same force or the same power or the same energy that we use during the NSAS, we can turn into this constitutional amendment. A lot of things will go right in this country.
Now that you know, Ajibola, I've brought this to your attention. What are you going to do about it?
Okay, well, I'm going to, in my own space, I will try to discuss some of my friends, the group I belong to come up with things like this. Like, you know, you have even in this, like what I was saying earlier on, the NSAS team, you have good lawyers that can even allow help us to gather our ideas together and actually take it to the government.
No, they don't need to help you take it to the government. That's the point of this conversation, is that you have to take it to the government. You go ahead and submit that email or forward that letter.
But let them use the larger platform they have, the followers they have, to inform people about what is going on.
All right, thank you so much. Let me go to Facebook where John Gabriel MC says it is just a farce. Kolawole, I told you, right? Someone still thinks that's just a farce. They know what they're doing. We need a total brand new constitution, not piecemeal, unserious, subtle, time-dragging, fallacy code constitution review. Imoke Clem says another way of making some people rich. Really? Gabriel Olugbenga Olanrewaju says, through what medium do we forward our memorandum? We've mentioned some of those medium. You can send your letter to the National Assembly or to your representative, or you can send them a mail. I mean, Mon Malaki Ogu says, nothing to review in that constitution. You can't continue patching an old horrible tire and expect it to work. Total repeal of the constitution and replacement with a new one derived from the people is the only acceptable way to go. This thought is echoed by Irene Zechiku on Facebook, EGK, who says, all we need is a brand new constitution. Okay, let me go to Twitter. Twitter is at Nigeria Info FM. Use the hashtag Nigeria Info MCF so I can read your comment. But I'll read those comments after the break. I need to go out on a break in just a minute. Remember, you can also join on WhatsApp, and the number is 08095 975805, 08095 975805. The constitutional review is ongoing. Do you know about it? I'm telling you how you can move from complaining to acting, and taking action begins with you. It's a long race. It's a marathon, and you need to be patient and ready to walk it through. Let me see. Okay, I'll take your comment. Let me go on the break and return, right? So I don't cut your comments short. This is the Morning Crossfire. My name is Wemimo Adewuni. I'm back with you after this. Kolawole is still here. He has joined me again after the break.
Coming up, we'll be
Shimawa, Ibejule.
Wetin dem go use?
Yes! Winners will be announced on Hard Facts with Sandra Ezekrisili. Just a minute. The game show for everyone on your number one station for talk. 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.
In the information era, facts, events, and news are available at the click of a button. The information flow is enormous, which makes the financial markets unpredictable. As a trader, you need to have a strategy, and most importantly, you need a trustworthy partner that will simplify things for you. Hot Forex is serious about its responsibilities to you. With its origin dating back to 2010, we are a multi-regulated broker with over 2 million live accounts, wide global presence, more than 35 international awards, tight spreads, multiple assets, reliable fast execution, technological innovation, and multiple account types. The Hot Forex team is always ready to deliver trading services and free trading education that you can rely on every time. And this is not just a mission, it's a promise. Visit the Hot Forex Educational Centers at 3rd floor, Warala House, 90 Island Avenue, Ikeja, Lagos, or call 0908-517-6394 or visit www.hotforex.com. Hot Forex, for traders that want more.
We're back.
We're back.
We're back.
We're back.
We are back.
We're back on 99.3 Nigeria Info. This is Morning Crossfire on 99.3 Nigeria Info.
You are right. You are on the right dial, 99.3 Nigeria Info. This is the Morning Crossfire, and today I'm teaching you how to move from complaining to acting. Okay, and currently there is a review of the Constitution ongoing, and you can be a part of it. It's exciting to tell you this, and I am hoping that you will learn from our conversation, and not only learn but take action and begin to demand some of those changes you'd like to see. Kolawole Oluwadare, the Deputy Director of SERAP, joins me on the show. He's explaining to you the process and how simple it is. You just need to take some time to send in your opinion on the amendment, as well as follow up on the issue. Kolawole, thank you for holding the line there.
Thank you very much.
All right. You need to turn on your video again so people can see you on Facebook. All right. Now, let me ask you about the consent. Is there a need for consent from the president or the state governors in amending this constitution? Does it go back to the president? Do we have to wait for years like the PIB?
And all laws naturally have to go to the president for accent. But the constitutional provisions also provide for when accent is refused, where the National Assembly can, with a majority, pass the same law. So it is not, the presidential accent is not sacrosanct, as it were. Mm-hmm. Even when cases where accent is refused, the National Assembly can still go ahead to pass such laws by majority of both houses and have the law passed, but not for that of the government.
So we expect that by the expected date, which is March 2021, that the lawmakers have mentioned, we still have this go to the president for his assent. Now, many people, the comments I've read on Facebook, most of these comments drive around, no, we don't want a partial amendment. We want the whole constitution dropped in the bin, and we want a new one created. Kolawole, what do you think?
Creating a new constitution is more, it's by way of review. While I would not, I would allow people who have such opinions hold their views. But creating a new constitution, you will recall that this is more or less the fourth or the fifth time that the constitution has been amended, and various other things have been added, which of course some benefits some people, not all Nigerians. And so, even the overhauling the constitution is also by way of amendment. So, if we have, for instance, there are people who are talking about police reform. What if sections of the constitution that addresses police is amended? For such people, as far as they're concerned, they're satisfied. People are talking state creation. If that is done, they're satisfied. Restructuring or whatever interest Nigerians have can be channeled through constitutional amendment. Even if it's an overhaul, sections of the constitution can be amended to nullify some, repeal some, and to amend some to give it more life. So it can still be done. And that is why we need to engage. We need to engage our members in the National Assembly to do the needful and to sustain it until it comes out the way we want. And that way we can tell them that we told you this, we engaged you on this, but you refuse to act. But at least we must do our part first.
My question was going to ride on that, but that's what you've hinted on. If the public then submits these documents or these mails or these letters, can these lawmakers decide not to pay attention to what their constituents have asked them to do? If they decide to do that, what can the constituents then do?
You understand that this is the committee stage. So this is the few lawmakers who have been tasked with responsibility by the House of Rep to look at this and then submit their report to the whole House, where it goes for further debate. So this is a smaller unit. So if you are fortunate that the member representing your constituency is part of this group, that gives you additional leverage, if I can call it that. But of course, all Nigerians and even this small set of House of Rep members represent all Nigerians because they've been tasked with this stuff by the whole House. So whatever goes in, they are bound to consider. But of course, they are not bound to take everything because that is part of their job. And that is why the second step of that advocacy for citizens is now to leverage on their own members, which is part of the whole House, to make sure that in his speaking to the bill, in his debate, the debate on the bill, he speaks in favor of even what you have put forward, which may not have been put forward by the committee. Yes, you can't say that. Yeah, right. Because all Nigerians, 200 million Nigerians cannot go to the National Assembly and speak. And that is why we have that number of people, 360 of them, representing us. So when they speak for us. And that is why it is our responsibility to put the words in their mouth. If they fail to say it, they will be responsible to their constituents. If they fail to do what you want them to do, but you must make them know what you want them to do.
In the first place.
Yes. Yeah. And that is what Nigerians sustain.
The picture you've painted is great. So if you're sending this document and this committee doesn't pick on your concern, they don't push it to the bigger house, you can still follow up with your representative on the bigger house to remind them that you sent in something important that was not included in the document they are presenting to the larger house, and they can then be considered. Can you guys see how amazing the process is?
He can take it up and speak to it because, like I said, he's speaking on your behalf. And that is why I think it's a good strategy to send it in through him or her in the first place.
Right.
So that way, he or she cannot claim ignorance of what you have put in. And that is why we need more advocacy, more enlightenment for people to know the details of this, of their House of Rep, National Assembly members representing them, enough to engage them. How many Nigerians even have their details? And I can tell you, the National Assembly has not done really well in this regard in making themselves accessible. Physically or virtually. It is not enough to visit the constituents once in a while. How accessible are you on the phone? In this day or in this virtual age, you should be accessible at least more than 12 hours of the day to your constituents.
So I've seen some comments also on Twitter. Where can Nigerians find the email addresses of their lawmakers or their representatives? Or we don't need their phone numbers. At least the mail addresses.
I've seen some. They're all over the internet. A couple of months ago, I saw some civil society organizations did a very beautiful job, and they were in circulation. I saw it then. Phone numbers and email addresses of the members of the National Assembly representing individuals, and I'm sure Nigerians can access it. And of course, the National Assembly has a website and a physical address. And I'm certain that if you address a letter to the National Assembly, which we've done for so many times to the National Assembly, it will get delivered. And you can always deliver it yourself.
Yes, I've sent one myself and it was delivered. And you can target it to your representative. I sent one to my representative. It was directed to his office at the National Assembly. So even if you don't have his personal email address, you can send it to him at the National Assembly. He will receive it. Let me take... Yes.
Sorry, the beautiful thing is every National Assembly member maintains what is called a constituency office in each locality. that is another conduit to channel those things. Well, why not submit the memorandum at that office? Of course, Abuja is far to everyone, so you can submit it, track it, and ensure that it takes it up.
One thing to do, guys, let me give you a tip. When you're submitting those letters, print 2 copies. Don't forget this. Print 2 copies. Make sure you have a copy that's stamped, received by me. Right, Kolawole?
Yes, that is called the acknowledgement copy. And of course, even if you make use of the regular courier services you would have an electronic proof. And even the physical proof by way of waybill that it was submitted. That is a way to track the progress of a letter and to hold these members accountable that you indeed did something when you were called to do it.
Right. So make sure that you track those letters. 0700 993 993 993. We have a few more minutes on this. You can also join us on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM. Let's go to the phone lines. Good morning.
Hello.
Hello. Good morning.
Good morning. Yeah, people have been saying that the leader, why we need a brand new constitution is this. You are saying to third. That to third is based on the current constitution. And you know, before the Civil War, it was the distribution was 3, 2 in the south, 1 in the north. That's the regions. You understand? Then of recent, after the Civil War, it was more or less 1, which is the north, because they won the war. Then of recent, which we don't really have in the constitution now. Are you hearing me?
I can hear you.
We don't have it in the constitution. It's now 6 regions. That is not even in the constitution that you want to use to bring up a new constitution. That is 3 in the more or less in the north, 3 more or less in the south, which is not even in this. This two-thirds you are talking about is based on local government and all that, which the north, because they won the war, they had before somewhere like Kano had equal local government with Lagos. But over the years, they've managed to double their local government. So something like when, of recent, when there this Eastern Region Development Initiative, it was sent to the National Assembly. It was shut down. Meanwhile, after the Civil War, there was this 3R rehabilitation, which they didn't do anything about. Now they have the NNDC, they have the Northeast Development something, which went through the National Assembly.
So what exactly do you want to change?
If you Eastern Nigeria on shutdown, because there were more, the balance was not more.
So you seem to have an idea of something you want to change. Why don't you forward this?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That the process that is going to change it is baseless, because that does not favor us. Something like the World Trade Organization.
If the two-thirds does not favor you, why don't you write? Please listen to me, sir. Can you please listen to me?
It's not in the Constitution. It's not there. So we are going to. How can you bring?
How can you say? How can you say the two-thirds majority is not in the Constitution? What are you talking about?
Let me come.
Okay, let you come. Kolawole, he's arguing that it's not even constitutional to require a two-thirds majority. Is this so?
I don't understand. The Section 9 of the Constitution, subsection 1 or 2, is very clear on the requirements for constitutional amendments. And the first is two-thirds majority of both houses, which is talking about the Senate and the House of Representatives, and then a resolution by two-thirds of the House of Assemblies of the states in Nigeria. We have 36. And two-thirds by simple calculation will amount to something like 24. And so it's clearly stated. I really don't understand the point he's trying to make.
I didn't quite get it myself.
Numbers required to effect the constitutional amendment.
Well, thank you. Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning. Wemimo.
Yes, I can hear you. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. I'm calling from Western.
Your line is not clear. We can barely hear you.
My line is clear. I can hear you very well.
You are telling me your line is clear when I'm telling you your line is not clear. Now, wow. Go ahead. What's your name?
Well, I'm Adewuni from Children.
Thanks for calling.
I want to say that the major part of the Constitution, which I would like to change, for which the Southeast meeting with the Chief of Staff have already.
Esedum, your line is very faint. Can you speak louder so we can get you?
Okay, I will call you back.
All right, thank you very much. Good morning to you. Welcome to the show.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you. I would like to contribute to that discussion going on.
Yes, please go ahead. You're live on air.
Okay, Bamidele Ajibola from Mushin.
Thanks for calling.
Thank you. I am disappointed in SERAP, the man there. We were expecting you to even put in. I was expecting to see this thing in your putting up. That is referendum. Is the only thing we need in this country. Referendum. We are not doing things well. If there's referendum in the constitution, whoever wants to work and go become friendly nation.
Mr. Bamidele, you want referendum in the Nigerian constitution.
I want
please listen to me, sir. You want a referendum in the Nigerian constitution.
Yes.
The National Assembly tells you this is a time to tell us what you want, and you are blaming SERAP for this. Why?
But SERAP has submitted one.
So why are you not submitting yours? They've submitted theirs. You as well as citizen, you can submit. That's why I'm here. That's what I'm telling you.
Okay. I will submit.
Thank you. Now is not the time to blame anybody. Now is that time to get your pen to paper and write. Don't wait for anyone to do it for you. Good morning.
Hello.
Hello, welcome to the show.
Yeah, how are you?
Great, thank you. What's your name?
My name is Barrister Peter Oko. I'm calling from Mende, Maryland.
Welcome.
Yes. However, my take on this issue of constitution is that the entire process lacks sincerity. The reason I'm saying it is that Nigerians do not trust this present crop of National Assembly members to give them a desired democratic constitution. The reason is that many of them came in through rigged election. What we expected is that when the civilians came in 1999, they should have made a new constitution.
But now that you have a chance to give input to this constitution, why don't you take advantage of it?
Yes, I can't take advantage of what is already disadvantageous. That's what I'm telling you.
Isn't it because it is disadvantageous that we are amending it? Isn't that the point?
Yes. Wemimo, you have rapper, right? You have rapper that women tie.
What's the point? What's the point?
Yeah, the point is that when that rapper is old to a certain extent, and you keep amending it, one day it's no more amendable.
But do you understand that if you amend the constitution section by section or part by part, it gets to a point where you create a totally brand new one?
Well, I'm not sure. I'm not sure whether you create a brand new
or
one.
when it becomes a brand new one, something you'd like to see. But thank you for calling. Good morning. Welcome to the show. Okay, that's that call. You guys are getting me exhausted. I mean, you want to see change. They're saying here's the opportunity to be a part of it, yet you still... Okay. Good morning.
Hey, Wemimo, good morning.
Hey, welcome to the show.
Great to join you again, even
Thank
though
you.
I didn't start from the beginning.
Oh.
But I think I have an idea.
Yeah.
My name is Uche. I'm calling from Ikeja.
Welcome, Rotimi.
No, my name is Uche, not Rotimi.
Uche, okay. Uche, welcome to the show.
Yes, you see, I think I want to agree with the penultimate caller. Whatever they are going to do with regards to the Constitution amendments or whatever they decide to call it, that word, referendum, must be clearly stated.
Stated by whom, Uche?
By the people in the house now.
Who are the people? Uche, do you get the point? The point is you are supposed to tell them that you want a referendum.
Good, that's what we are doing now. This is one of the platforms.
No, this is not the platform, Uche. The platform is sending a mail to the National Assembly or a letter. That's what I've been talking about since 8 a.m.
Okay, do you have the contact? Because I would like to do that.
Go ahead, just go online, search for the email addresses of your House of Rep member or write a letter and address it. Get it delivered to the National Assembly.
Can we even send a tweet to our representative?
No, you can't do a tweet. You can do a letter or a mail.
Okay, I'll try and do that. But let me just air my view here now.
Okay.
We want referendum clearly stated in the Constitution. And not just as a word, the terms, what exactly we want, which is, one, should Nigeria continue to exist as a single entity?
I want you to tag me in the copy of your letter when you've sent it. Please do me that favor. Guys, the show this morning is I'm telling you to move from complaining to acting. I deliberately use that term. I need you to, mention the things you want, but I'm saying now you have a window of opportunity to push the change you want to see. Kolawole, are you listening to my callers?
Yes, I think we can create a context there.
Okay.
So, for instance, Section 9 of the Constitution that we have now provides for how the Constitution is amended. That's Section 1, Subsection 1 and 2. Imagine if, this is not my view, I'm just saying, you want the Constitution to be amended by a referendum. All you have to do is insert a fresh Subsection 2 that says that the Constitution will be amended by referendum conducted in so states of the Federation by this agency. That is all.
That is all.
Then the process of amendment has changed. So what people need to understand when you talk about the new Constitution is 3-4 sections in the Constitution can do a lot. For instance, look at the exclusive list and the concurrent list in the Constitution in the schedules. So imagine if you move police, for people talking, for instance, about state police, all you have to do is remove the police from the concurrent list, exclusive list, and put it in the concurrent list and create enabling provisions for it. That creates the police. It's just as simple as that. So it is not a burning, a physical throwing away as it is, but amending some critical sections that you want. You can create new sections to harmonize what you want as an individual or a group or a state or local government. You can come together. And that's the beauty of this process. I understand the distrust. We need to do something rather than complain and say that we don't trust. You cannot convict a system you have not done something to make sure it works. If you don't put anything in, you cannot complain that nothing came out.
Interrogate the process, guys. Please interrogate the process. And I'm here today just telling you how you can be a part of it. For the next, few weeks, suspend your distrust and take a step. After you send that letter, continue your distrust. It's all right. It's okay. I mean, some of this distrust is genuine and you have basis for it. But take advantage of this window of opportunity and do something, and you can then resume the conversation about the blame game afterwards. Kolawole, how long is this window of opportunity open for?
I can't recall specifically the number of days put up by the House of Reps. And I think that is something the House of Reps needs to do more as part of solutions to this. We need to engage the people more. Why can't we have submissions by tweets, for instance? Why can't we have by DMs? Social media platforms are viable platforms. Why can't we have it even on a portal on the National Assembly website where people submit their thoughts and their memoranda in simple form, just prose, without having to write or print or sign? And those are the issues that we need to address on the part of the National Assembly. So the window, I can't recall the exact window now, but Nigerians need to act fast. Write something, put it down, send it, engage your member in the National Assembly. Then you can use that as an indictment on them later. If they do nothing to say, yes, I did my part, then you fail to do yours.
I gather that a lot of Nigerians want referendum. This is a good time to harmonize as a group, and strongly, in fact, you can send numerous to your various lawmakers, to your various representatives. This is the time to do it. If you miss this time and then you come to me in January, say January when this window is closed, and you continue complaining, then you have totally defeated the purpose of this constitutional review. Okay. Please move from complaining to action right now for the next few weeks. Okay. All right, we need to wrap it up here. Thank you so much, Kolawole, for joining me on the show this morning. I hope our listener will take a cue from this conversation and do something. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
All right, Nigeria, that's it. I need to bring in a guest quickly on the show to tell you something important about the Lagos State Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Something amazing coming up. Dr. Segun is joining me on the show to talk about it. He's Dr. Segun of LCCI. He's joining me now on the show. Let's see if I have him here already. Hello, sir. Good morning.
Good morning, Wemimo. Good to join you on your show.
Like, finally. Thank you so much for joining me. Now, Dr. Segun, the LCCI is organizing the Lagos International Trade Fair. And this is, of course, in partnership with Nigeria Info. Tell us some more about the International Trade Fair.
Yes, the Lagos International Trade Fair is the largest platform in Nigeria and in West Africa for businesses, corporate organizations to do business together, interact, and then ensure that they increase their return on investment. And this year's edition is coming in December. Usually we used to have it in November, but the reason for the change of dates is as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic and the recently held NSAS protests across the nation. So it has now been moved to December, 4th of December through 13th December 2020.
Fantastic.
It's a 10-day period for the expo.
Great. So who can be a part of it? I have less than a minute left, so I need to rush all of this in. Who can be a part of this trade fair?
All and sundry. As long as you do legit business, as long as your business is legit, you have quality services and products to offer Nigerians.
And how can they be a part of it? How can they reach you to be a part of this?
Very simple. You can be a part by going online, even at the comfort of your offices or your homes. You can join us on www.lagosinternationaltradefair.com.
All right. That's
LagosInternationalTradefair.com, or you call this number 0700-5246-724.
All right. I'm sorry I can't go further. I'm really out of time on the show. Nigeria, that's the Morning Crossfire show today. I'll see you again on Monday morning. I'm Wemimo Adewuni on social media at Wemimo Sport. Let's keep talking. Nigeria, be a part of the process. Have a great weekend.
In the information era, facts, events, and news are available at the click of a button. The information flow is enormous. Broker with over 2 million live accounts, wide global presence, more than 35 international awards, tight spreads, multiple assets, reliable.
3. Follow us on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM and on Instagram at Nigeria Info FM Lagos for live updates as it happens. 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.